Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
Let's take a look at radar tonight. Showers dying down before they hit the Rio Grande. The next chance for rain and the record-breaking heat we could see this weekend coming up.
Also, a violent attack on a local high school campus, and it wasn't the only one that one student was accused in. The defenders look into it. Plus. Tonight, a call to protect a woman's right to choose. South Texans making their voices heard as leaked documents raise concerns that the U.S. Supreme Court will overturn Roe versus Wade. If that were to happen, we are now hearing about a promise not to prosecute. Now, that's Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez addressing the abortion battle tonight on social media. This is the latest development since we told you about that leaked draft last night at 10. Right now, abortions are legal, but the concern that could change is a lot of people responding, including the district attorney. The Night Team's Lee Waldman joins us now from the new federal courthouse downtown, where DA Gonzalez actually addressed protesters tonight. Lee, what did he have to say?
Steve, Stephania, the district attorney was here assuring protesters that he was not going to prosecute people for their own personal health care decisions. You mentioned he made those same comments on social media this evening. Now, as far as what we saw with this protest, imagine it with me, about 200 people right where I'm standing, all pro-choice. We didn't see any counter-protests this evening. As far as their message, it was loud, it was stern, and it was very clear. Take a listen.
Make it known to the people in power, to SCOTUS, to the judges, to the governor, anybody that wants to ban abortion, that we are here, that we're going to fight, that we're ready to fight.
Right now, today, abortion is still legal, and they still have a chance to change their minds. They still have a chance to change their votes and not strike down this constitutional right.
Pro-choice protesters outside of the federal courthouse making themselves heard with a resounding message. Women have the right to choose.
You can both have a family with young children and choose to have children and be for abortion choice.
Sarah and Evan Johnson brought their two daughters with them to this protest. They're too young to understand what's happening, but their parents know it will impact their lives.
Women should have the right to choose when and how and under what circumstances they want to have families, and abortion is an absolutely vital part of that.
Hands off our bodies!
Diana Limon Mercado with Planned Parenthood calls this draft opinion an attack on women.
It is true. We are at a crisis moment for abortion access in our country. The right to abortion is being crushed and has been for some time in Texas.
Not the church, not the state. Women must decide their fate.
Not everyone agrees. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick tweeting, "This is a great day for innocent babies in the womb," unquote. At this point, KSAT 12's emails to Governor Greg Abbott and San Antonio Coalition for Life have not been answered. Other Republican leaders like Senator Ted Cruz sounding off on the leak itself rather than the content of the draft.
Whoever did this leak should be prosecuted and should go to jail for a very long time.
It's very important to reiterate this evening, this draft opinion does not ensure that Roe v. Wade will in fact be struck down, but it does have other groups fearful of the precedent this will set for other laws that allow birth control and same-sex marriage. That's a topic we're going to get into tomorrow night on the Night Beat. Live at the federal courthouse, Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Lee. Oklahoma's governor signed a Texas-style abortion ban today. It bans women who are 6 weeks pregnant from having an abortion. And Oklahoma's law also depends on private citizens to enforce the measure by filing a lawsuit against violators. That ban is already being challenged. Oklahoma and Texas, part of the 13 states who have so-called trigger laws related to abortion. Those are the states in red. If Roe versus Wade is overturned, Texas trigger law would take effect 30 days from that decision, allowing for a statewide ban on abortions. So how did this strategy come about, and does Texas have any more trigger laws? The KSAT Explains team breaks it down online on KSAT.com.
In Texas, women pay $42 million more over a 2-year period on essential things like feminine products. Now, we pay more because the state charges a sales tax for those things. But some people want to change that. They're part of a movement, and they tell the Night Team's Patty Santos it's about equality.
A sales tax is more expensive on people with lower incomes. The minimum wage in Texas is still $7.25.
And the average cost of tampons is about $7 a box and going up with inflation.
In certain families, when you have more people that are menstruating, it's even a bigger cost.
In Texas, medical supplies like bandages and wound dressing care are exempt from taxes. Andrea Elizondo, co-founder of Texas Menstrual Equity Coalition, is pushing for menstrual products to have the same sales tax exemption.
It is hard for those of us that have resources to understand what it's really like to pinch pennies. But some families in Texas, and unfortunately too many of them, are in a position where they have to make choices about the limited funds that they have available.
After 3 failed legislative attempts to repeal the tampon tax, HB 311 got a unanimous vote to move forward during the last legislative session. Author State Representative Donna Howard says because of scheduling, it didn't move forward, but her plans are to file the bill again in November.
Though it's a small dent in the cost of the products, it still goes toward not discriminating for one thing, but also putting some money back into people's pockets because we have found that what has been labeled period poverty is a real issue.
Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
At noon tonight, shots fired. One person rushed to the hospital. San Antonio police at an apartment complex on Bullmore Drive. This is near Pecan Valley and Dollarhide on the city's south side. We have a crew on the scene working to find out if anyone was actually arrested. Again, one person taken to the hospital. We'll keep you updated as soon as more details become available.
That's it. You can't vote early anymore for the May 7th election. Early voting finished today. More than 47,000 people cast their ballots. Now, you can still vote, but you have to wait until Election Day, which is this Saturday. And that ballot will include several proposals. One is for the Northside ISD. That district says the nearly $1 billion bond is not going to involve a tax rate increase. We're going to show you how it works right now on KSAT.com. And there's also a sample ballot for you to check out.
They didn't get everything they wanted, but the Silver and Black closer to moving some of their home games away from the AT&T Center. Spurs Sports and Entertainment says it's a way to build the regional fan base from Mexico to Austin. The request was to allow the team to move 4 of its home games for the next 2 seasons. County commissioners only gave preliminary approval for 1 season. Legal counsel for the team addressed concerns the Spurs could move to Austin, and this is just testing the waters. But Judge Nelson Wolf not entirely convinced.
As the chief legal officer and general counsel of all our companies, our commitment is we are staying in San Antonio.
He has no authority to, it's the ownership that decides where they're going to stay or not.
Today's vote only allows the county and legal team to negotiate an amendment to the deal. A final vote is expected to happen in 2 weeks. Judge Wolf saying Spurs ownership ought to be at that hearing.
Now for a look at your headlines in your Nightbeat News Flash. A garbage collector caught right in the crossfire, and now San Antonio police are looking for the shooters. Officers say that people opened fire this morning near Drexel and South Hackberry. One of those bullets hit a man who was just doing his job. He was collecting trash. He was wounded in his arm. He is expected to be okay. Former State Senator Letitia Van de Putte says that she is learning to walk again. That was her message today on social media. She's been recovering for the last month after a car hit her while she was in a crosswalk in Florida. And she posted this photo of herself with her mom. Van de Putte also said that she's, quote, grateful for the love, prayers, and support. Empty shelves. It is the very last thing the San Antonio Food Bank needs, but it's actually happening as the organization heads into the busiest part of the year. The food bank says that donations are down, but demand is up because of inflation. Now, the thing is, it needs more food because more families need to feed their kids once school's out for the summer, which is going to happen in a few weeks. The food bank especially needs non-perishable items like peanut butter, jelly, rice, beans. If you'd like to help, donating is very easy. Just leave the items in your mailbox, and the U.S. Postal Service is going to pick them up for its Stamp Out Hunger food drive. That's going to take place Saturday, May 14th. And that's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash.
Tomorrow morning, it's going to be very similar to what we've had lately. Low clouds, a few sprinkles, but our real rain chances hold off just a little bit. We'll get around to those in a few minutes and then get ready to crank up the heat this weekend. We'll talk about how close it's going to get to record high temperatures and some climatology on our average first 100-degree day. We'll see you in a bit.
Thank you, Adam. Still on the Nightbeat with temperatures expected to increase over the weekend. Like Adam said, so are the number of scams. The warnings to consider coming up.
Also, a violent attack on a local school campus, not once, twice. The defenders are going to look into that issue and speak with the victim's mother. It's next on the Nightbeat.
A new tonight, a Johnson High School student violently attacks a classmate. The district returns the attacker to the campus months later.
And now that very same teen is accused of beating an assistant principal. Tonight, one mother tells our Dylan Collier how the flawed discipline system at Texas schools is putting your kids at risk.
Yeah, and we want to give you a warning. This footage in the story is not suitable for all viewers.
This surveillance camera video on the campus of Johnson High School last October shows a sudden surge of violence. After a teen's shorts are pulled down, he turns and begins striking one of the first classmates he sees, delivering blow after blow to the child's head, followed by a stomp to his skull. And then finally, multiple kicks to the injured boy before walking away like nothing happened. Lisa Piot that day got a call from her older son, attempting to explain why his younger brother was headed to the hospital.
Mom, you got to call the school. There's blood everywhere.
The victim's injuries included a concussion, a broken nose, and bruising and swelling of his eyeball. Piot learned her son's attacker had been in 2 previous fights, making this his 3rd incident of violence within the first 9 weeks of school. And although he was arrested for assault and booked into the county's juvenile detention center, he was soon out. And within days of the attack, these images posted on social media show him mocking his victim.
Were you under the assumption as far as school goes that he was done, that he was no longer going to be allowed on campus and would be expelled?
Yes, absolutely. The process is broken where these repeat offenders are just allowed to be returned to the environment.
Case in point, her son's attacker, who was sent to an alternative campus, then returned to Johnson in January, only to be arrested again, this time for felony assault on a public servant. Northeast ISD police say he repeatedly hit an assistant principal with a closed fist April 14th. Causing him to bleed from the head and face. A juvenile court hearing last week revealed the teen is now back in alternative school, but he could come back to Johnson. But banning the teen from the district is simply not an option. State law and even the U.S. Constitution guarantees every citizen the right to a free public education.
The law states that we cannot exclude a student permanently.
NEISD Executive Director of Communications Aubrey Chancellor says at the end of the day, the district's hands are tied.
We certainly understand that there's concern, that there's fear for those families, maybe some staff members.
Small consolation for Piot, who says the beating has lingered long after her son's physical wounds healed.
But my child is entitled to an education too that's safe and free of intimidation and bullying.
For the defenders, Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
The arrested teenager is free on bond and scheduled to be back in court in late May. The typical punishment for NEISD students who assault a staff member is 75 days at an alternative school before they're returned to their home campus.
Texas bracing for the heat that's expected this weekend, and it appears that criminals are hoping to take advantage. Now, CPS Energy sent out an alert warning customers about scammers posing as the utility and threatening to turn off the power if they pay up. And they remind you that CPS Energy just wouldn't demand payment over the phone to prevent disconnection. Now, the expected heat also led some people to wonder if the power grid would keep up with all that demand. ERCOT, or the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, helps manage the power grid and says that they are adamant the power will stay on. The agency has already asked power plants in the region to postpone any planned outages. It anticipates the rise in demand to take place between Friday through Monday.
And why ERCOT thinks that way is very apparent when you look at our forecast. You're kind of thinking, okay, look, Splash Pad, John Gardens, Hemisphere Park. It's all nice. You know what? It was in the 80s today, maybe a little muggy, but wait.
Yeah, we're going to crank it up a bit, I think, as we get into Friday and this upcoming weekend. You know, we've been in the pattern with the low clouds in the morning, high humidity, and a few sprinkles. And then the afternoons, you know, temperatures upper 80s, near 90. Nothing too out of the ordinary for this time of year. It's going to be more of the same Wednesday and Thursday. Upper 80s near 90. But look at Friday, 96. Then Saturday, we're expecting right around 100. And the record high on Saturday is 100 degrees. So record challenging warmth this weekend. And it doesn't end there. Let's get right to it. First, with a look at climatology. The average first 100-degree day in San Antonio is basically the end of June, about June 30th. End of June, early July. July, I guess we could call it, is when we typically hit our first 100-degree day. Now, the earliest ever was February 21st. That was back in 1996. The latest first 100-degree day, that was actually last year, September 6th, right, back in 2021. But now, keep in mind, we've had 23 years without a single 100-degree day on record. 23 years that has happened. So it's not always guaranteed around here, even though there are times we just get used to it. Those summers do occur. Look at the readings right now. You see some cooler temperatures to the north. Dallas, Abilene, Lubbock in the 60s. Amarillo, 59. Oklahoma City, 52. Even cooler farther north up the plains. There's a stalled frontal boundary across North Texas. We're on the warm side of that boundary. It's not going to push southward. It's not going to be affecting our temperatures at all. That cooler air is going to stay to the north. You look at the readings now, low 80s along the Rio Grande, 78 though in Kennedy, 80 Hondo, 76 New Braunfels, and for the most part, you're looking at 70s to near 80. 78 Divine, 76 in Bulverde, and just a degree warmer in Canyon Lake. Now, this is what we're expecting tomorrow morning. Low to mid 70s, muggy, the low hanging gray clouds, and a few sprinkles and a little bit of drizzle. More of the same, just like the past few days. Then by the afternoon, we'll squeeze in a bit of sunshine and make it close to 90 degrees for the high temperature. So 86 Bulverde, 91 Castroville, and Nixon about 92 tomorrow. Then we cranked up the heat as we talked about Saturday and Sunday, right around 100 degrees. Then we just trim it down a little bit into the early part of next week. All right, let's talk storm chances. What we had in Mexico earlier this evening just couldn't quite make it eastward. We were expecting maybe a few storms making it to the Rio Grande. They didn't even make it there. They fizzled out. We just got the leftover and blow off cloud cover from that activity, and that's it. Now, looking at our future cast, I like what it shows here in terms of, yes, a few nuisance sprinkles in the morning, and then a little bit of sunshine by the afternoon, leading to about a 10% chance of a storm tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow night, a little more activity possible. Don't pay close attention to the exact placement. And then we get into a 30% chance again Thursday afternoon with the off chance of a severe storm. So here's your KSAT 12-hour forecast. Gray and dreary in the morning, a little drippy at times. Then by noon, still gray, 80 degrees. Some sunshine into the afternoon, 88, but only a 10% chance of showers and storms. 30% on Thursday, then Saturday, Sunday, nothing but sunshine with that heat.
Nothing but sunshine. Thank you, Adam.
So now that we're a few days removed from the draft, how do the Texans and Cowboys do you think?
The Texans kind of went homegrown, where they selected 3 of their players out of their 9 draft picks from Houston. And the Cowboys, they just went big. When we come back, more about that. And who's the number 1 pitcher in Class 4A? We go to Hondo to find out. Coming up.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
One of the things that stands out in the 2022 NFL Draft for the Dallas Cowboys is size. It started with their first pick at number 24 with offensive lineman Tyler Smith, who checks in at 6'3", 325 pounds, but it doesn't stop there. Just look at some of the rest of the Cowboys' 9 draft picks, including 5th-round draft pick offensive lineman Mac Let's-Go, who is 6'8", 312 pounds, and fellow 5th-round pick John Ridgway, a defensive tackle out of Arkansas, 6'5", 321 pounds. This all has to do with what happened to the Cowboys against the 49ers, where they were ousted in the first round of the NFL playoffs. The Niners held the Cowboys just 45 yards rushing by the running backs while running over Dallas with 169 yards and included the 26-yard game-sealing touchdown by Deebo Samuel.
I'm really buoyed because I've always, on our defense against a running game, have always held my breath on getting Big Boy in there. And so this is a real statement in my mind with Dan and with Mike as to how we're going to address the run game when we get into the playoffs, which we're sure to have.
Now, in addition to their 9 draft picks, the Cowboys are also bringing in 20 undrafted free agents to participate in the team's rookie orientation next week. Among those headed to the Star in Texas is Texas Tech kicker Jonathan Garibay. After the Cowboys cut Greg Zuerlein, there was talk of the Cowboys using a draft pick to select a kicker, which is unusual. Now you know why. They can usually sign an undrafted free agent to fill that spot. And the Cowboys have been very successful at that. Just look at Terrence Steele out of Steele High School here in town as one example, not to mention Tony Romo and Super Bowl champion Drew Pearson. Now, here's something you may not have realized about the Texans' 2022 NFL draft. 1/3 of their 9 picks are from Houston. That includes former Aggie offensive lineman Kenyon Green, who played for Atascocita High School, defensive back Jalen Petrie out of Baylor, who suited up for Stafford High School, and offensive lineman Austin DeCulis out of LSU, who went to Cy-Fair High School. In fact, 2 of the Texans' first 3 picks are from the Bayou City. What does the man who was behind the curtain making those picks think about that?
It's great, but, you know, it's not just because they're from Houston. It's because they're good players. Look, I would say this, like, there's a lot of good football players in the state of Texas and specifically in the city of Houston. So, I mean, it's probably a good place to start. So, you know, the fact that they're homegrown here is probably more, I mean, their families are probably more ecstatic than I would say anybody else.
All right, game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals in Boston tonight. Celtics fighting to keep from going down 0-2 against Giannis Antetokounmpo and the defending champion Bucks. Celtics storm out of the gates. Jaylen Brown connects from downtown. Boston's up 18-3. Celtics added that lead in the second. Jason Tatum for the 3 to help Boston out to a 25-point halftime lead. The Bucks would close the gap to 13 late in the 4th of this bucket by Antetokounmpo, but it wasn't enough. Jaylen Brown led Boston with 30. Jason Tatum right behind him with 29. Celtics even up this series at 1-all, 109-86. Former Baylor Bear, now WNBA star Brittany Griner is now considered wrongfully detained by the U.S. government, which means the White House will no longer wait for her case to play out through the Russian legal system. Negotiations will begin immediately to return her to the U.S. Coming up, we'll introduce you to the Strikeout King and Hondo. Coming up. Congratulations, San Antonio FC, who landed as many as 4 players in the United Soccer League Championship team this week. Defenders Mitchell Traynor, Fabian Garcia are joined by midfielders Nicky Hernandez and PC after SAFC defeated Monterrey Bay FC 6-0 last Saturday, the highest scoring match in team history. It was Hernandez's first start, who scored and assisted. Then this is the 3rd time Garcia's earned Team of the Week honors, as well as Traynor, who is also making his 3rd appearance. And for PC, it's his first appearance in the Team of the Week after scoring his first goal of the season. PC's real name is Victor Pagliari Hero. Now you know why they call him PC. Meet the Strikeout King of Class 4A baseball. He's Caleb Gauna, who pitches for the Hondo Owls. A senior right-hander is 3-1 in 15 outings, and according to his head coach, Mitchell Winchester, has 133 strikeouts to his credit this year, which says is the top 3 in the state as well. Caleb opened this season with 14 strikeouts in 6 innings during a 3-0 loss to Cornerstone. In his last 3 outings, has totaled 43 Ks. And get this, when he's not pitching, he's also the Owls' catcher.
First, it wouldn't be possible without my catcher, Leland, and we mixed it up. We know what to call, and it just helps strike out the batters. I don't worry about the record. I just go out there and worry about the game, try to get a win.
He leads the 4A classifications in strikeouts. He's sitting at 133 strikeouts for the season, and he's just gotten better year after year. His curveball and fastball command is so much better this year than it was last year.
How about that? Next up for the Owls, who are district champs, will be game 1 of the 3-game bi-district playoff series against Carrizo Springs. Starts on Friday at 6 p.m. So close to home and so talented. Good to hear that.
Strikeout King indeed.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Get him a crown.
Let's win the championship.
Yeah, thanks.
That first. We're back in 2. So Barbie's world is becoming a reality. A life-size version of her Malibu dream house is taking a tour across the country. If you go there, you can walk the pink carpet and pose in life-size Barbie fashion boxes. That tour kicks off in July, and yes, there is a plan to stop in Texas, and you can take a closer look at the exhibit right now on KSAT.com.
Life in plastic.
It's fantastic. Like the song.
That's what. I thought you were going to keep singing. I didn't know. Yeah.
We'll see
Adam's
tomorrow.
singing.